Well, thank you, Mr. Chairman. And I want to, before I begin my questions, thank you for leading us on that CODEL last week to Afghanistan. Very informative. And once again, it reinforced my understanding of how dedicated our troops are in the face of very difficult circumstances in Afghanistan. Gentlemen, I want to thank you all for being here today, but more importantly, I want to thank you for your leadership and the many years of service you've given to our nation. I represent thousands of men and women in the Air Force at Davis-Monthan Air Force Base and Fort Huachuca down in Cochise County in the Army garrison, and I'm very proud to have that role. Before I ask a question of General Huggins, I want to go back to what was being discussed just before my turn came, and that is the A-10. General, I understand this was a tough decision. They're all tough decisions, and I think the irresponsible decision that Congress made to impose sequestration and these cuts on our Department of Defense are really the villain of the piece, so we need to deal with it. I've opposed sequestration. We'll hope that we can come back and do something about that. But I want to associate myself with my colleague who just asked a question about the A-10. I really think that it's putting our troops in danger, quite frankly. Yes, I understand other platforms are available, the F-16, for example. But when I talk to the Army personnel down at Fort Huachuca, they don't say, I wish the F-16 would show up. They say when the ugly Warthog shows up, they are having a much better day. And they understand, as we all do, that that is the best aircraft right now to provide close air support, flying low, flying slow, making sure that the enemy is running and our troops are protected. And I really hope that we can find a way to reconsider this decision until we have platforms in place that really will prevent the gap that we're going to be seeing as the divestment goes forward. We're going to continue to press the Air Force and the Secretary to make sure that we reconsider this decision, because I think it really does put our troops in jeopardy. I would like to turn now to talking about the Army and Fort Huachuca in particular, General Huggins. Fort Huachuca is a wonderful place. I don't know if you visited it, but if you haven't, it's a fantastic facility, one of our national assets in terms of national security, I believe. The civilians and service personnel who work there, I believe, have and will continue to serve a vital role in the Army's intelligence and signal operations. Many of those service members work at the Army's Intelligence Center of Excellence, NETCOM, and the 9th Army Signal Command Headquarters, and they provide an important capability to operational requirements and contingency missions around the world. Secretary Hagel has rightly said that he wants to identify and pursue cybersecurity and cyber warfare as one of the DoD's top priorities. I couldn't agree more. General, special missions like the one housed at Fort Huachuca have many operational requirements that blend their daily operations and maintenance with overseas contingencies. Could you tell us what impact you foresee on Army intelligence and signal communities who have relied in the past on OCO funding to cover costs of many of its operations and maintenance?
Thank you very much, and thank you for your words on Fort Huachuca. I have been there, and I would agree with you. I would tell you that specifically in terms of the intel functions first before the cyber, last year about $54 million in OCO was pushed into Fort Huachuca to support multiple operations. Most importantly, the Foundry program, where we provide reach-back capability for the commanders that are forward. I was fortunate enough to be the Regional South Commander in Afghanistan a few years ago when many of you visited. And we rely on not just Huachuca, but many other installations where the Intel Center provides this reach-back capability by what they fondly say, they keep no MI soldier at rest. Even and reset back at home station. They are training on a forward deployed mission and looking at real world intelligence scenarios to help the commanders forward on that. So we have invested in OCO at Fort Huachuca in the past and continue to see the need to do so in the future. Really to help our commanders, our soldiers that are forward doing the contingency missions. In terms of the cyber piece, I'd only add it is probably the one of only two probably growth areas in the Army as we look forward. We are obviously sequestration is tough. We have gone to a majority of the force and said, hey, if you can remain neutral, you probably have grown. But cyber certainly is. I agree that is a critical mission set. And we've got a great new Army Cyber Commander who is working with U.S. Cyber Command to try and put our force structure together to meet the real-world requirements. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, General. I yield back.